Have you ever wondered what college life is actually like when you're blind? Well, stay tuned for this video because I'm going to be telling you all about it. Hey you guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. It's very nice to have you here. This is basically where I have a lot of vlogs or a lot of information basically on my life as someone who is legally blind. As you can probably tell by the title, for this video we're going to be talking about college because I feel like a lot of times people wonder how it is that someone who's blind or has a visual impairment can even go to college. So that's what I'm here for today, to be telling you what my experience has been and all things college related. To start off, basically let's talk about my degree. So I am currently in the psychology bachelor's program with specialization in the industrial organizational track, or IO. So if I ever mention IO in this video, basically that's just what it means. It's an acronym that we use for industrial organizational psychology, just to kind of like not have to say the entire word because it can get really annoying if I had to say the whole word over and over again. For those of you who are not in IO, that's basically what it means because I have been asked so many times what IO is. I think it's because it's just a relatively new field of study. So not a lot of people know, like automatically when I say that I'm in psychology or even in IO psychology, people automatically assume that it means, oh, you're gonna be a counselor or you're gonna be a doctor or like, oh my God, you're reading my mind. No, that's actually not what IO is about. It's actually a very different type of psychology and we're gonna get into that. So basically what IO is all about is psychology applied to the workplace, to the work setting. Anything related to human resources, workplace effectiveness, employee relations, all of that has to do with IO psychology. But that doesn't mean that IO psychologists are going to be sitting with employees one-on-one or counseling people one-on-one like the typical clinical psychologist would do or the psychiatrist would do. Instead, I feel like IO psychology is more leaned towards like handling organizational well-being. So like we take care of the issues, filing, workplace issues, or a lot of times we take care of training new employees or hiring, interviewing. So yeah, that should give you an idea of basically what I'm in. I am almost done with my bachelor's degree. I have about 1.5 semesters left and I do plan on enrolling into graduate school because I do want to get my master's in IO as well. So now that you guys have a little bit of background about my field of study and my career, let me tell you about how I've been able to survive college as a legally blind person. First things first, how I get around campus. I go to a very big, and I mean big, like large campus here in Miami. I am currently a student at Florida International University. If you live in Miami, then you probably know what I'm talking about. The FIU at on 8th Street and 112. Like it is a huge campus. It has a ton of buildings like all over the place. Every semester when I start like a new schedule, I always make sure to get somebody to go and guide me and show me where the classes are gonna be at. So either my mom goes with me or like a friend goes with me, and then we just probably walk around the way maybe like 2 or 3 times until I get the hang of it, which means that then I can just, handle it on my own and walk around campus on my own with my cane. So we do that at the beginning of every semester just to get, an overview of where my classes are gonna be. I already happen to know the layout of the campus just because I've been there for quite a while now. Like I'm almost done at this point, so it's not like that hard to maneuver and I can walk like really long distances just because I've gotten to know it super well. There's this building called the Graham Center, which is like the center where all students meet, like socialize. There's a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of things to do. That's where they usually put like the games for sports and stuff. So that's like my biggest landmark, and pretty much where I get around is like knowing where the GC area is, and that's when I can learn like where the different buildings are. As of my assignments and my work, if any of you out there are legally blind or have any sort of disability, I think the most important thing you need to do when you're a college student is communication. So you need to be communicative with not only the Disability Resource Center, that I think every college, by law, they have to have some sort of Disability Resource Center for disabled students, but also with your professors. It is so important to establish a positive relationship with your professors. Like what I do every single class, the very first day of class, I go up to my professors and I introduce myself. Like, hi, I'm Aranza. It's nice to meet you. I just want to let you know that, the typical accommodations that I typically need are just extra time on my exams, and for everything else, I'm pretty much well off. If you're gonna do any visual assignments in class, I would appreciate to know them ahead of time just so that I can, stay on track with everyone. And I have never had a negative response from a professor telling me like, oh yeah, I can't help you. Like never. Everybody has been super accommodating, super receptive, just like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Like they're all super nice. And it really helps you establish positive relationships with your professors. And especially if you plan on going to grad school in the future, those professors will remember you for a recommendation letter. And remember, grad school requires a lot of rec letters and people who can vouch for you. And when you can establish those relationships, like when you not only show them that you know what you need, but that you are also willing to learn and to be a responsible student, they will remember you. So big tip in that sense, if you have a disability or even if you don't, talk to your professors, establish a relationship with them, because that will help you a lot in the long run. And it really has helped me because I already have at the top of my head the 3 professors that I'm gonna ask for my rec letters, just because they were my favorite and they were super cool. And even if that doesn't work out, I have 3 extra professors that I can ask, so it's all thanks to the communication. You really have to put yourself out there and make yourself known and accept your disability and discuss it openly with them, because that is what helps me so much, is the fact that I can express my needs and express my limitations and how those limitations can be resolved. In terms of the material, being blind, not being able to see what the professor is doing on the board, and as I've said in my previous videos, I'm not completely blind, but I do have a very limited amount of vision, so I can't see what the professors are putting on the projectors. And I think in terms of the psychology, generally in the psychology classes, it doesn't really affect me, just because psychology consists of so many concepts, so many theories that can be learned by ear. Not like you actually need to be seeing what they're saying, just because auditory learning is good enough, I think, in most of those cases. However, where I have struggled with is math, because a huge part of psychology is statistics and statistical research and statistical analysis, everything, because that's basically what we use to back up our data. So obviously you're going to have to deal with statistics in psychology regardless of what field you're going into. Something that I actually learned from one of my professors, this was actually her idea. This was, I believe, my first statistics class. And I remember I didn't understand anything at all because I couldn't see what she was doing on the board. And stats is something that's so visual. You're looking at graphs, you're looking at really tiny numbers, you're looking at points. It's just a very visual thing. And I remember my professor went up to me and asked me, she's like, I feel bad because I can see that you're struggling. You're not really, and I'm like, dude, I am I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this because I don't know. And she's like, I've been thinking, what if I email you the PowerPoints, since I teach based on the projector, what if I email you the PowerPoints every class ahead of time, and then you can try bringing a laptop, because at the time I didn't bring a laptop, and she told me you can try bringing a little laptop with you, and then maybe it'll help you follow along with the class. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is such a great idea. I would have never thought of that. So we started doing that, and guys, when I tell you that my laptop was a lifesaver, it helped me through so much. I started seeing everything the whole class was seeing, especially because that class involved an iClicker. If you don't know what an iClicker is, it's basically the professor asks a question every now and then and you have to answer based on the iClicker. It's like a little controller and it has 5 choices, A, B, C, D, and E. And based on what the professor is saying, you answer and you'll either get the answer right or you'll get it wrong. So basically it's kind of to help you learn, to help you absorb the material a little bit better. And it started helping me so much, like just maneuvering the class so well, especially with those visual concepts as stats is, because stats is really, really visual. And if I were to give somebody a tip, someone who's legally blind, make sure you tell a professor if they can do that for you. Like just send you the PowerPoints ahead of time. That way you have it ready and you can follow along when the class starts. That literally was that was my holy grail. That was just amazing, and up to this day I thank her so much. She changed my life, she really did. I think that would be it for my accommodations. I consider myself a pretty independent student. Like in terms of my other classes, I don't really need a note taker. I prefer to take my own notes because I know my note-taking style, I know my organizational style in terms of like my paperwork. So I would much rather, take my notes myself and then not have someone else do it for me, because what if they missed something? What if they didn't write something? Like sometimes professors dim the lights a lot in the classrooms. When that happens, I typically just take a laptop. So laptops are a lifesaver in college. Like if you can use a laptop, if you can manage to have one, use it. And that's how I usually, manage my notes, is that I just type. And considering that I'm a pretty fast typer, I learned to type in elementary school without using my eyes. Like my elementary school teacher taught me for all those years that I was in school, like how to type, with just feeling the keyboard. So that helps me tremendously when it comes to taking notes, because I just type really, really quickly as the professor is speaking, and I pretty much am able to absorb like a lot of the information. In terms of audio recording, I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary in my case, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna go home and listen to a lecture for another hour and a half that I already listened to for an hour and a half in the classroom. I just simply, take my notes, typewrite it. And sometimes when there's visual assignments, like I said, for example, one of my professors made us write journals at the end of every class, like a little reflection of what we learned. I would always tell her, make sure to please turn up the lights whenever you do that, because I can write with my hand and pen if the light is bright. If it's dim, I can't see a thing. I would always tell her, like, it doesn't matter if the light is dim during class, but when you do your assignments, please, brighten up the light, because otherwise I can't see and I'm gonna be completely lost. And she was like, no, like, of course, that's totally fine. So yeah, like in general, professors are very, very accommodating. That's why I'm saying it's the most important part of all is to be communicative and to let them know what your needs are. 9 times out of 10, they'll be okay with it, and they'll be more than happy to assist you in every way that they can. Oh, books, before I forget. Books, I have begun using nothing but PDF files. So PDF files have become my lifesaver in college, just because when I read print, like I can read print, it's okay, I have my magnifier, but when you get into college, your textbooks are so much more jam-packed with information as opposed to high school textbooks or middle school textbooks. So it becomes a lot more time-consuming to read with just your eyes if you are legally blind. So that's what I've been starting to do now, is just get all of my books on a PDF file, and then I have a reader on my laptop that basically, reads everything to me out loud. Also, Control F. If you didn't know, actually, one of my sorority sisters taught me about the Control F thing on the keyboard. So you do Control F, and basically it will find anything you want on the textbook, like any vocabulary word, any chapter, any page number, whatever you want to find. And that is also very, very helpful, especially when you're doing like an open book test. And that would be it for my college experience, you guys. Like that's pretty much been how I learn, how I do things. And in terms of my social life, college has been my favorite, absolute favorite. I absolutely love the college life. I love the students. I love my school. My school in general, to me, is everything. Everything about it is amazing. Like I said, I'm also in a sorority. My sisters are all great. They are all awesome. I have met several new friends in college, and it's just been overall a fantastic experience, and I cannot wait to graduate and to continue on with my career into grad school. I am already getting ready to prepare for my GRE which I will obviously be taking you guys on all that journey with me because I'm gonna be vlogging about the entire experience and I can't wait. That would be it for now, and I hope you enjoyed this video and got a little bit of a sense into what it's like to go to college as a legally blind person. And if you like my videos, please like them, subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with more content like this about my life, about my experiences as someone who's legally blind. And I will also leave my Instagram in the description if you want to go and talk to me over there. You're more than welcome to. I love talking to you guys. And yeah, you guys, I will see you all in my next video. Bye!